Hello everyone, Namaste to all voice engineers. I hope everyone is doing well. So today we are going to understand what is a cube, a Cisco Unified Border Element, and how it is different from a voice gateway. So a cube is a network element which connects a VoIP network to a VoIP network. And a voice gateway is a device element in the network which connects a VoIP network to a digital network, a TDM leg. So a VoIP cube, a Cisco Unified Border Element, can connect a SIP to SIP and H3 to 3 to SIP, and a voice gateway can connect your any IP leg to a TDM leg. So let's understand this. So in this call flow where you have IP phone registered to call manager, a device which is connecting call manager via SIP at one end and to the provider again using SIP at the other end is a cube. So this will be a cube. So cube is actually a SBC, a session border controller, but Cisco gave a new name, so it's also called a Cisco SBC. So Cisco call its SBC as Cisco Unified Border Element, but generally in the market you will hear the term as SBC, Session Border Controller. So consider Cube as a Cisco's SBC. So Cisco give names to every product. So this is Cisco SBC or a Cisco Unified Border Element. So a cube or a SBC connects a IP leg which can be a SIP or H323 to a IP leg. So at the other end it will be always SIP. So if you have a SIP to SIP call flow, it's a cube. If you have H.323 to SIP, it's a cube. This you will see very rarely, but I have seen few customers, very few, one or two in my tag during my tag days, that one or two customers had this call flow where they were using H323 to SIP, right? But better to use SIP to SIP when you are planning to use the router as a cube. Very easy to troubleshoot, easy to implement, and you will not have any interoperability issues where there are a lot of interoperability issues in H323 to SIP, right? So this is a cube where it connects a IP network to a IP network at both the ends. An IP network at Cisco side can be SIP or H.323. Towards provider, it can be SIP. So this is a cube. Now how it is different from a voice gateway? So in the same call flow, if you have a IP phone registered to call manager and a voice router, so a voice gateway connects a IP leg to a digital or a TDM leg. So the IP leg can be, at the IP leg you can have a SIP, MGCP, or H323, and at the TDM leg or digital leg you can have a PRI, T1E1 PRI, FXO. You can also have T1E1 CAS. So a voice gateway connects a IP leg to a digital or a TDM leg. So at the IP leg we can have all these three protocols. So this is the difference between a cube and a voice gateway. So one more thing to understand is, suppose you have a SIP and some digital or analog circuit here, maybe PRI or FXO. Some people call this as SIP gateway. Yes, it can be called as SIP gateway but not cube. Remember this. you should have SIP at both the ends to call that device as a cube. It cannot be called as a cube if you have just SIP at the one end, right? So this can be called as a SIP gateway where you have a SIP at one end and maybe PRIFX or T1E1 CAS at the other end. You can call this as a SIP gateway as well, or a voice gateway, but not cube. For cube, it should be IP to IP leg. Now, I would also like to explain one more term, which is, or which we refer this call manager and cube as back-to-back user agent. So it's back-to-back user agent. Now, what is back-to-back user agent? We learned about user agent in our first SIP video. A user agent can be a user agent client or user agent server, where a user agent client sends the SIP request and user agent server receives that SIP request and responds to it, right? But what is back-to-back user agent? So a back-to-back user agent can act as both a user agent client and a user agent server at the same time for the same call. So let's understand this. Suppose this phone A is trying to make an outbound call. So first it will send a SIP request. This SIP request has a special name. The first SIP request is called invite, but as we have not went through the call flow yet, so I'm not going to tell that. So we'll understand the SIP call flow in the next video. So let's understand in general terms. Phone sends the SIP request to the call manager. The call manager sends the SIP request to the cube, and the cube sends the SIP request to the provider. Here, this phone is UAC since it's sending the SIP request. Call manager at this side will be a user agent server, and the same call manager at this end will be a user agent client since it's sending the SIP request to cube. At this end, the cube will be a user agent client, and at this end, the cube will be user agent server and user agent client. So call manager at this end is a user agent server. At this end, it's a user agent client. So at the same time, it's working as both. So this such device, such network elements are called, especially in SIP, as a back-to-back user agent. Same happens with the cube. When call manager sends the SIP request to cube, so cube will be acting as a user agent server at this end, and when the same cube will send this request to the provider, it will act as a user agent client. So for the same call, it acts as both a user agent client and a user agent server. So this is called a back-to-back user agent. So the definition of back-to-back user agent is it receives the SIP request, reformulates it, and then forward it or send it to the next party. Okay, it does not directly receives and sends it. That's the job of a proxy server. It will reformulate it, it will change its from and to address and all the details, and then send it to the next server, right? So the device which acts as both user agent client and user agent server in the same call flow or same call, it's not known as a back-to-back user agent. So a call manager is a back-to-back user agent, a cube is a back-to-back user agent, guys. So this is all for today. uh, I will request the new viewers to subscribe to my channel, comment if you like the video, and let me know if you want me to prioritize any topic in the SIP. Till then, everyone, stay safe. Bye bye. Have a great day.